Insert witty cold open here. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 4 of Undead Unluck. I'm going to apologize right off the bat if I seem out of it, if I seem like barely responsive here. I'm going to try my best in this reaction, but I mean, you'll have seen the other video posted today. I believe it's just going to be titled something like Fuck Warner Bros. Basically, just to put it short, Warner Bros. Is dropping Rooster Teeth, and that means they're getting rid of Ruby as well. So the future of Ruby is kind of up in the air. They say they're trying to sell it, but who fucking knows if that's even going to happen. They said the same thing about Coyote versus Acme. Ruby's one of my favorite shows, so this is affecting me very harshly. But like I said, I'm going to try to get through this as best I can. Because I want to still get things done today. I don't want to have to put off on things because of this, if I can help it. So, last time on Undead Unluck, the trip to Russia, basically, and arrival at the lake. While on the way there, they end up getting attacked by more people from this organization, which I can't think of the name of right now. And I believe her name is Gina, who is leading the attack. Apparently, she's one of the few members of this specific 10-person group of power users that Andy knows. And she is also the most dangerous one. He knows her specifically from the time he spent locked up with them. And yeah, we see that her power allows her to create barriers, which, as stated last time, is a really insane ability and can, if utilized right, can be extremely OP. We already see that she can use it to lift chunks of the earth into the air, create stairs. Obviously can be used just as a barrier to stop attacks from coming at her, even getting close to her. She can use it to create like bubble force fields around anything, which stops them from being able to, do anything. And on top of that, she also seems maybe a little bit unstable. She's definitely a little crazy. Not like on the level of like Harley Quinn or Himiko Toga or characters like that exactly. Maybe one step below those kind of characters. But she's definitely got a crazy side to her. It's also mentioned that she's a lot older than she appears. Like, she looks like she's maybe around the same age as Fuko, like late teens, early 20s. But at the same time, she is very much referred to, especially by Andy, as like having crow's feet and stuff, and it's very clear she's like disguising her appearance somehow. I don't know if it has to do with her abilities. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me as how that could be the case. But it kind of in a way makes me think of Bisky from Hunter x Hunter, who is like 50 something years old, yet looks like a schoolgirl because she wants to be cute and does not want to be seen for her natural age because she thinks she's ugly and unattractive, looking like a JoJo character. But yeah, I don't know if it's quite the same reasoning here. It might be. That would actually be kind of funny if it was exactly the same reasoning. If it were, I would kind of wonder if she was based off of Bisky. But we see at the end that Andy's come in. He's going to help fight. There's also a chef he was going to get who might also help fight, but it's unclear if this chef is a power user. It's not really explained. Last episode also dealt with showing, like, Andy, while he is definitely crazy and has lost his mind from, being alive for so long, being tortured and everything, he is still a good person who has his limits. He likes to antagonize people, and I think he gets like a kick out of like kind of being a jerk. But I think he's a lot nicer than even he kind of realizes. Because it's like there's a point in the last episode where Fuko wakes up from nearly drowning, and it's revealed that he had to lift up her bra to get to her chest for chest compressions to save her life. And it's made very clear that was the only reason he did it. He didn't want to just look at and touch her tits. He was doing this for her to save her life, not to oogle and fondle her breasts. And it shows like the kind of character he is there. And you even see that Fuko is embarrassed by it at first, but does recover pretty quickly because she does believe that he didn't do it out of any ill will. It's very clear that she did believe him. And that's great because we see, like, even the episode before that where he said like that he wasn't going to just have sex with her just because she was desperate, that he wanted to earn it and wanted her to actually love him first. It's like we see that he is an honorable person. Again, he's crazy and definitely has issues, but he's not bad. There is a difference. Now, Gina, on the other hand, is kind of up in the air right now. I'm unsure what to think of her. Because there was the cute moments and everything. There was the painting scene with her and Fuko before Fuko realized who she was. And that was cute and nice and everything. But then her true nature was revealed. And it's like, yeah, I think she's... I don't think she's good. I really don't. I'm kind of unclear if she even knew who Fuko was when they were, like, hanging out there. She definitely knows now, but I don't know. Either way, we're going to see what happens in this episode because it's like, how do you even defeat someone like this? Are there limits? Does she have a weakness? How exactly do her powers work? I think that's important to know. And Andy's definitely going to be a help in that regard because he's dealt with her before. So this should be interesting. At this point, I guess let's just get into it and hope for the best. And hope that this cheers me up a bit because, yeah, still really depressed. So... when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. And so, Andy and Fuko's spots in the Union are set in stone, pretty much. Gina is dead, and I actually like how it characterized her here, because we saw in the last episode, and we see it definitely here too, her kind of craziness. But it makes it very clear that there's a lot more to her. This is a girl who was so afraid of change that she use this anti-aging technology and whatnot to halt it. She has this ability that stops change. Everything around her has made her afraid of change. And it's also, I was going to say implied, but pretty much stated, that her going into the Union and her time spent there has been horrible for her. That it's been like torture. And that she never wanted to do any of this. And the only reason she did after 40 years, actually 50 years, well, 40 years after Andy escaped, was to find and recapture Andy because she had fallen in love with him because he didn't change. His undead negator ability kept him from being able to experience that great change that is death. And so she fell in love with him because of that and because of his personality. And that's why she was doing everything she was doing. It's actually really hauntingly sad. Because it's made clear she's not bad. She, or was not bad. That she wasn't evil. She was a poor girl afraid of a natural part of life, and it crippled her. It forced her to take measures and actions that she didn't really agree with. And in the end, Andy saw that in her. And instead of turning away as the de-aging fell apart, he embraced her. He told her she was still beautiful. One thing she was heavily afraid of losing. She was afraid that her age would destroy her beauty. But he told her she's beautiful. He held her. He allowed her to hold him. And she died at peace, having found peace in change. And that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And I like how they're showing that, like, characters on both sides can be super diverse and complex. That they're not just all necessarily one way or the other. We saw the guy who was who had come out here with Pretty Boy. I can't remember Pretty Boy's name right now. He was in this episode though. We saw that one guy who came out that they killed to get the first seat. And that guy was just, you know, a crazed like antagonist from what we could tell. Like, he didn't have as much depth to him. But then you see Pretty Boy himself, and it's like, yeah, he seems to have a lot more to him. We meet Gina and get to know a lot about her and see how much depth she has to her. We can see a lot throughout these episodes how much Andy has. They're not just making these characters, whoever the original creator of this isn't just making these characters like generic, shallow anime characters. They have so much more to them in ways that you just don't really see a lot of in anime. It's a kind of complex developments that even some of the biggest anime, even some that I absolutely adore, like One Piece, don't do in quite the same way. One Piece has characters with amazing depth and everything. Oda makes sure to give them really heartbreaking backstories and everything, and make sure that we can empathize and sympathize with them. But he does it pretty much in mostly the same way for all of them. They have depth, but it's all kind of based in tragedy. All of these characters, and it's not even just like the Straw Hats, even characters like Senor Pink, and even villains like Doflamingo. They take that tragedy and do different things with it, but it is based in tragedy. It's a major part of One Piece's world and character building. And that's great for what it is. It's amazing. One Piece is still my favorite show. But I like it when anime can also bring in more, I guess, realistic depth is the best way to put it. Like, these characters feel like people. You know what I mean? Not like amazingly well written, like, depth imbued characters in an anime. They feel more like the outside of, the crazy powers, they feel like people. They feel like they're just going through shit and need to be understood. It's a very different kind of character development than you see in a lot of stuff. And I actually really appreciate that. It doesn't feel like they're ticking off check boxes or trying to like hit a quota, like, oh, this character, we need to give the character a backstory to make them more relatable or more understandable or whatnot, to give them all this depth and whatnot. It doesn't feel like that's what the creator's doing. It feels like they're more going along like, let's just write this character and build upon them naturally and explain everything as it goes. We're not like trying to fill a quota of like, oh, this character has to have like a backstory or this huge depth or anything. We'll add that in as it goes, as it feels natural to do. We'll describe these characters in a way that feels realistic and believable, and showcase them as going through things that anyone can relate to. Like, people fear aging and people fear death. That's something that everyone can relate to, pretty much. Like, yeah, there's some people out there who don't, but it's very, very common. And it's like, that's something that they can get and something that they can connect to, and that makes Gina's character more relatable and even likable. Like, you don't condone the actions she's done, but she doesn't condone them. Like, that's made very clear too. And I just really like how this has been done here. I think it's just really, really well handled. In a way that just feels so unique and so real. So, yeah. That very much impressed me. Like, even outside of just the fun of the episode, the cool action, the awesome animation, it's like the episode was satisfying to watch because it felt like effort was put into it in a way that just isn't as common as it should be. And it definitely raised my mood a bit from where I was at the beginning of this. Clearly, you could tell I'm not as upset as I was then. But I am still upset, obviously, but I'm just really excited to see where this series continues to go. And I can't wait to see what more they do with all these other characters. There's so many other characters shown in the opening. like the one woman with the helmet and everything. I want to know so much more about them, and I just really can't wait to see what this series can do. So, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of episode 4 of Undead Unluck? It feels weird that we're only on episode 4. I don't know why, but I feel like we should be like, I don't know, episode 8. But tell me your thoughts either way. And for now, I'm Connie, and I am signing off. See y'all next time.